Hello, everybody. As you can see, I've had one heck of a day. Had some errors along the way, but all in all, I'm happy with it. I think I could have made more money. Um, my take profit, I got long as soon as we took settlement here, but I only did a couple of micros because it's early and it's crazy. And I was aiming for the high of this opening gap right here at 476. But I had a combine type paired with this with I wanted it to liquidate when it got to $1,500 so I wouldn't be over on my combine. And it ended up liquidating me at $2,000. And since I had that liquidate and do nothing, I didn't have liquidate and block. I had liquidate and do nothing because I intended to unpair them and get back in on this one, which I did. But then I got back in and it liquidated me again. So I had to go in and remove all of that garbage. And by the time I got everything back in, I was pretty much the price action was insanely wild, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to stop a while and see. I think the afternoon will be better. Now, what we have on the chart here, we have a fair value gap. This is just regular trading hours only. You change that right down here, regular trading hours only. But we have a fair value gap on this regular trading hour. The first time we went to it, we stopped at the halfway point. If all of this remains open today, that means we have more downside potentially next week. But I'm kind of wanting it to fill in. We still do have relative equal lows on the weekly chart, way down at 22,800. And I mean, they're way down here. We took out a lot of high upper stuff. The way London behaved, that's the relative equal lows all the way down here. I think they will be addressed eventually, but I don't know if it'll be today. Just the way London behaved today, we went down, took out yesterday's low, like a 330 point move, and then ripped straight back up 200 points during London. Usually, New York will be a similar price action. You know, it'll follow the same pattern that London did as far as the bulk of the move of the day or the trend of the day. And so, based on that, I'm thinking we're going to at least get back to these equal highs. If you look at the 1 minute chart, that's a pretty clean straight line right here. Bottom is jagged, top is a straight line. But we did leave these lows, so we could possibly address them. I'm not going to be betting the farm on this trade by any means, but I think since we're going all the way down here, I'm going to add one more to my position. We could fall out of bed here, 100%. But my hope is that we go up to here. Now I've got some P&L to play with here. So if we get back to 650, I think that'll take out those highs. Yeah. That's not a bad little payday right there with just trading micros. I'm just going to have to keep a close eye on it, and I will kill this trade if it looks like I'm going to be wrong. But now we have a pretty nice straight line here too at the 620 level, pushing all the way back down to 580 is a possibility, which will get me in the hole pretty good. But being the fact that it's Friday, we've had an extremely bullish day, and it's after lunch. We haven't really had a reversal. The kind of a rule there. If we haven't reversed by noon or by 11 o'clock New York, I think is what they say, we probably aren't going to. And another rule is don't fight a directional day on a Friday. And so I would be looking mainly for longs anyway. This one didn't give us a really clean reversal pattern. It just kind of ripped back up. There was no entry spot except for maybe right here. That's the only place you could have got in for this push up. And so I'm thinking I would love to see it take out these highs, but if if it's willing to continue up to the high of this fair value gap, I will let it do that as well. If I can just get another 500 bucks, I'll have a $10,000 week this week. And that'll be a milestone that I would like to be able to brag about. So that's my hypo. I was in this one before at 600 and we went up here and then ripped back down. I'd moved my stop to where I wasn't going to lose any money. We ripped back down and stopped me out. Right now, if you're a bear in this market, this is our breaker right here, and we just validated it. But to me, this isn't a clean reversal pattern. The original breaker from when we went way, way up here is this guy right here. I've got it framed out. And that's kind of the one I'm looking at because that is still the highest point. We went all the way to the top of it and then pulled back to the bottom. Now we dipped below, went back inside of it. So ultimately, we need candle bodies to close above this orange line before I would be completely convinced that this is a bullish day, that we're going to remain bullish for the rest of the day. But I am a little nervous because this kind of does look like a rolly pattern here. And if you just look at this and you don't look back, this isn't the highest high, well, then the breaker's there. We pulled away with a fair value gap. We're wicking into it. So bearish could definitely be happening. It doesn't mean it has to go all the way back to the equal lows down here or address these lows. It doesn't have to go all the way back down there, but even going to 80 is on 5 micros will get me what, 200 bucks in the hole. So I would rather just like to see it just continue on up from here. I don't know if I was actually awake during London session. I'm going to put extended on here and just show you what craziness happened during London. Okay, so during Asia, we opened at 6 right here and we consolidated, dipped down, went back up, consolidated, and just pretty much stayed in that range right there all the way until London opened, or just before London opened. London hadn't even opened. It was London's pre-market, and it falls out of bed all the way down to here, like 130 points, and then immediately reverses and comes all the way back up here and dances around until 6 o'clock open for New York pre-market. And that was here. New York pre-market just held a steady range the whole time. And then the open fills the gap. I got long there. Oh, I got long somewhere. Yeah, I got long here. And then when we took yeah, I definitely did get long. No, I marked this as my breaker right there. I marked that as my breaker because it was the last down close or last, I don't know why I marked it as my breaker, but I marked that as my breaker. We filled the gap, we dipped into half of it, and then it just went on that crazy run up. I think I got in right at the top of this and bought 3, and when it dipped down, I bought 3 more, and then it did that huge run up, and I had this on the 4 hour marked out as my take profit right here. go back to regular trading hours. Right here, I was going for the top of that gap. And as you can see, that's at 476. I got filled, but there was a whole lot more meat on the bone right there. Another 200 points. And I made $2,000 on that run up. And I could have made a lot more, if I wouldn't have had that dadgum combine tied to this thing. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'll just go back and forth and put my orders in. But it's hard to manage that. Trade copying is the best, but then you're confined to the $1,500 a day on your combine. So now, right now, I'm sitting at $2,000 on a day. And my goal is to get 5 of these things funded like my buddy Adam did. And then, you know, just low hanging fruit, $200 a day type of stuff would be real nice. This has been one heck of a week, and I wouldn't call it a normal week by any means, but it's been a good week for me, for sure. I sure wish this thing would do what it's supposed to do in a hurry instead of making me sweat all afternoon. I was in this one right here. I actually got in, I marked out a 15-second breaker, and I'd gotten in somewhere around here in this consolidation, and it kept on dancing and dancing and dancing, and I finally was like, it's just going to stay here consolidating for the rest of the whole day. And I killed it on this run down. I got up like 20 bucks. I killed it. And my take profit was actually right here, but that son of a gun ripped down, so I missed out on another one. This one may do the same thing. This looks rolly right here. Lower high, lower high. I would not be at all trying to talk somebody out of taking a short here. I wouldn't. I would be like, the chart looks right for a short. It does. The only thing that doesn't look right to me is all of the bullishness of the day and the fact that it's Friday. And the moves to the upside have been so aggressive. Normally we take the stairs up and the elevator down. Today we've been taking the elevator up and the stairs down. So when we do go on a run up, it's usually like that, rapid. This was a pretty rapid push down and then kind of stair stepped a little. I do need to take some of this risk off because I'm way down here. Let's see. That's $680. I'm going to put it right there. Just in case we start ripping and tater chipping. That's 93. I'm going to put on one more since we're all the way down at 6 again. There we go. when you're in a range like that and you got filled like close to the top, if you're pretty convicted on your direction, you can add as it dips back lower to the bottom of the range, and it will move your average price down. And then if you do get cold feet or whatever, a lot of times it'll go back to the middle of the range and you kill the trade with, break even or just a little bit of profit. I'm not doing it for that purpose. If it comes down here and gets me as it is right now, that's going to cost me $300, which I shouldn't even be risking that much. But to stay in the trade, my goal is to stay in the trade. This is to protect my account. And so I don't want to put my stop all the way up here real tight underneath that guy. If it starts ripping past that guy, I might go ahead and kill the trade. But if it puts a big candle down, I won't have a choice there. But I don't want to have it 1,000 points away either. So this, it'll still be a decent day for me. $2,300 is not a bad day. See that, like that little rip right there? That could just be taken out that low and we go right back up, but we'll know it in 45 seconds. I think I've just seen it do this so many times today. I'm not 100% convinced that we're continuing down, but I feel like I need to go ahead and err on the side of caution and take the loss. Oh boy, what happened there? That's the kind of garbage I've been seeing happen all day. We're just going back to 6 and dip to 80. If there is going to be some loss mitigation, this would be it. I think that one would have fulfilled our 20 points after this breaker. 7, got our 10 points. I don't know. I'd like to see what happens after this candle finishes here. I think I might get smoked on this one. Right now, I'm going to fib. Put a fib tool if I can even get it done in time before it rips down on this wick right here. We want to see it stay above the halfway point of that wick in order to remain bullish. So basically, if it dips below that with candle body, not just a wick, but a candle body, then I would kill the trade. This would be considered a premium wick to the downside. In my bullish scenario, it would be. All right, so we made a new low. This is a done trade. If you were bearish here, I would jump in. I'm not. I'm not taking any shorts today. But that does look like a nice rolly pattern. We did respect the original breaker. No candle bodies closed above. It's not clean, but it is a good reversal pattern. See, there's the original breaker. That's the high of the day. And we did respect it so far. One red candle in a sea of green could just be pulling back to there, or we could go all the way back down to settlement. You never know. think you could call that a cup and handle situation. I'm really wanting a long here. I want to take a long, but I'm a little worried since I just lost that one. If we're aiming lower, where could we possibly be aiming? That's a 5 minute fair value gap we just wicked into. All the way down here is another one. And then we could be aiming all the way down here to these lows. But we're not leaving town. You live one time. Let's do it. Let's just put on 3 micros, and we'll put them on right here at that volume imbalance right there. A little lower. Oh, did I get it right? I think I went a little higher. Okay, so now I would be aiming for these highs. Probably going to get smoked again, but you'll live one time, right? It's kind of weird, the configuration. Oh, there it is. Let's just aim for those. What? Am I short here? I am short. I did it wrong. I did the wrong way. Let's just do this. Son of a gun. Reverse. Reverse. Well, I just lost money because I made a mistake. And so now we'll put our highs at 50 on 3. And if it looks like we're going to continue higher, then I will go ahead and add a couple more. I like that we're back into this, but the return to 600 is not strange at all. Who's out there sneaking around?
Well, how's that money maker?
Well, I'm just over here doing a live stream.
Oh.
But I can mute it.
Okay.
This is probably not the smartest move because we just took out that high right there and then went right back down. Getting in this long here, wanting a continuation. Just going back to 600 and then pushing further down is highly likely. Highly likely. But ripping higher is also highly likely because we took out, if you're thinking of it as painting a wall, we painted this wall right here. This is a fair value gap, and we traded back through it. And candle bodies are still respecting the lower portion of it. Why didn't we continue down here? This is a balanced range. We'd have to go all the way to here for the next fair value gap to the downside, which is possible. So I don't know. I think probably the best thing to do here would just to be get out of the trade and just sit on the sidelines until something shows some sort of a direction. I'm not taking a short. I can tell you that much right now. But I would encourage you to if you feel like we're going down there to those lows. But because of the ambiguity of it, I don't need to be in this trade. That's how I end up losing my P&L. if I get in trades like this. To me, continuation trades are the hardest because you don't know how far it could still continue up. It could continue up and take these highs at MOC or something like that, but you don't know how far down this is going. When you're at a top, you can put a reversal pattern up there and see if it gets respected. But when you're in a, I would call that fiddling in the middle. If we just consider this an entire range, we're fiddling in the upper portion of it and we're going long in the upper portion of it. If you wanted to go long, the better place to go long would be in the lower portion of it, like cut it in half and then go long only if it gets back down to the lower quadrant of that range. Right there. So below that red line is where you'd want to go long. So this is all based only on intuition and nothing. There's not a whole lot of rules or strategy you can put into place to say, okay, this is why I'm entering this trade. It's based purely on intuition. It does look like we're trying to push up a little higher now. A year and a half of watching the charts every single day for 8, 9 hours a day does help you develop a little bit of intuition, but it doesn't mean you're going to be right. From a 1 minute perspective here, let's say we ran liquidity here. That's our breaker right there. So if you were going to wait for a better signal to get long, it would be when it gets above that right there. And I should mark that out on NQ instead of looking at it from the 5 minute perspective. So let's do that. Okay, so this is our low. We swept that liquidity. That would be the breaker right here that we would need to trade above and move away from with a fair value gap in order for this to remain a bullish trade, bullish environment. There is a fair value gap here, but it's beneath the breaker's high, so we can't really count that one. We would just be basing it on the fact that we're respecting this one. Since I did get in down here, if we do validate this breaker and stay above it, we put up a fair value gap, I'll add to the position at the appropriate time. Could just be running highs here. 36 seconds we'll know where this candle finishes. $602, I'm at 698 entry. I could just take my risk off, look for a better entry if it comes back to it. Okay, so we did have a fair value gap above the breaker. It's right here. So based on that, our entry would be here at 603. We could add 2 at 603. So I'm going to add 2 more if it gets back down there to it. If not, I'll just let my 3 run. If we put another fair value gap up here, I'd like for it to fill me there and then continue up. Just add in 2 to my position. I might as well pull this away because we got a good signal. I'm going to put it beneath this breaker, which is that breaker is at 602. So yeah, I'll just put it beneath it a little ways. Sure would like to see this leaving town. So my order here is 1 tick above the bottom of the candle that created the fair value gap. That's my add. I actually entered down here, but I'm going to add if it gets back down to here or 2 more. Unless we sweep all those highs first. Okay, so we have a volume imbalance here at 607. I'm going to move my addition 2 to 607. All right, it filled me on the end on this one, but it didn't even get to it over here yet. Okay, so let's see what kind of risk we got there. We got $65 on the risk. I like this pattern. This is still the original bearish breaker we're trading in right now. That's what these 2 lines are. I would like to see the top of it get violated for sure. Let's see where our TP is. 650. Yeah, so it's at 650. I would like to see it go all the way up, but we'll see. I put my entry at 602. Return to 602 is highly likely. I should probably preserve the profit because it could go all the way to 602. That's a volume imbalance there. There we go. So we got a little bit of profit there. And I rebuy right here at the breaker if it respects it. It looks like it did. So I'm going to put on a mini. What the heck? Same risk. Might be regretting this. I would like to have seen it touch it and then a reverse immediately back to the sky. And it didn't. That looks like a lot of points because it's expanded, but it's really not that many points. It's only a 10-point pullback. This is being respected very nicely so far. Uh-oh. So far. That's the fair value gap we need to remain open, at least the bottom portion. Bodies have to stay above the bottom. Wicks can go through it. It's okay. Don't freak out just yet. Hmm. That wick went way down. Dang it. Gotta let this candle finish because it could still finish above that. We'll see. 5 seconds. 1 second. Okay, that's it. I gotta kill it. It just invalidated my breaker. So there's 2 trades I lost. I'm done for the day, folks. I'm not gonna trade anymore. This is just chop city to me. You can take a short here if you want to. Like I said, will not. Original breaker here, respected so far. So the possibility of aiming down to these lows is definitely there. Kind of relative equal lows. Not a bad week. That's the first mini I've taken today. I've just been doing micros and got smoked. Dadgummit. Put me at 22, 247 on the day. So I just lost 2 trades and I was at 22.6. That's $400. Goodbye. Real quick and easy.
Are you still recording?
Yes, I am. I just realized I had y'all on mute. I'm gonna I'm not in the mood for a short, but we have respected this breaker, and we're now validating the breaker that formed on this run up. Haven't quite made it below with a fair value gap, but if we do push down with a fair value gap, we could aim down to here. You know, these relative equal lows down here on, I think on a 15-minute chart, they look pretty good. Not that good. These two here. I don't like the setup for a short. I like the setup for a long, just because it's Friday and all. I've already explained that. But I'm locking out. I think we're in straight money stealing mode at this point, and I'm not gonna let them steal any of my money. I've had a $9,000 week, and it's my first profitable week with Topstep ever. I've had profitable weeks in my private brokerage account over the years, but never with Topstep. So I'm going into the weekend up 9 grand. I took a payout already, $3,100. So yeah, I think I'm in a good position going into Monday. I like that this has stayed open so far. If we do, that'll be my weekly hypo video. If we do leave that portion open, the chances are we can aim down to here next week and just kind of stay in a range here for the week, for the weekly candles. But that's quite a pullback. Man, I got a lot of lines on the chart. I don't like having that many. Look at that straight money stealing mode going on right there. Won't validate a breaker, invalidate a breaker. Just straight money stealing chop. My original trade, I mean, I killed it, but it would have held. I would have been back in profit right now where it sits. So, no, I think I got in maybe up here. I don't know. But either way, we're in money stealing mode right here. I got in right at that bullish breaker. You can still look at it as a bullish breaker. Lower, higher low, push through the breaker. You could still look at it like that. But until it leaves this area, and if it does leave the area, we're already right here at the highs. So you're only gonna get 20 points. So no, I don't like the afternoon movement today at all. So there is potential there. You could make some money, but yeah, I'm locked out. That's pretty sweet. Money stealer. I think that's it for me, folks. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Didn't really help you all that much. Only showed you how to lose a couple of trades, but the nuts and bolts were there. The market just didn't behave. So thank y'all for watching. I'll put on some other videos about the hypos for next week and all that stuff this weekend. Reversal patterns we had weren't really all that clean. This one was pretty sweet. Entry there. Aim for. I mean, that's the only thing you could aim for, unless you just grabbed a quick 20 points or something. I don't know. That's the only thing you could really aim for. If you were aiming all the way down here, it wouldn't have made it. But we did double tap here and then push on a little further down, but not only to those. We left these. That's why I was thinking more bullish action, but nope. But all right, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good day, good weekend. Next week